Howdy y'all, it's Dave. Channel's TXW5CSM. ICOM 7000 in a box installation in a 2012 Ford F-150. Start up front with the power. Double fused, positive and negative. The loom is routed up into the firewall. May as well show you the hood grounding right now. Hood grounding from up here down into the firewall. The power continues up in this channel, comes down. See if I can get you a good shot of where the power goes into the firewall. Okay, that's everything that's happening under the hood. Power then continues. Again, sorry for the jumpiness here. Power then comes into the engine compartment underneath, and then routes down. I split the positive here. One positive from the battery runs up to the switch, and then the positive continues from the switch down back to the radio, and then there's a ground that I ran right to that ground lug there. So 2 positives and 1 ground. The ground initiates the LED, little green LED on the switch. Okay, the power then continues in the channel along the driver's seat left side. Goes in, continues around to the back. I ran short on loom, so I decided to just loom the power and stop it right there. The power then comes up into the radio. So I believe that's it for power. We'll now start looking at the RF path of the installation. So starting from the rear, running a High Sierra Sidekick antenna. The mount, of course, the internal portion of the coax is in there behind that red self-adhesive tape. The ground of the shield of the coax goes to the same ground that I'm using to ground the antenna base itself, which was a drilled through right here, and I placed this over it so it wouldn't chafe the inside of the lens covering. Inside this channel I've kind of blown it up a little bit. I don't know if you can see down in there. Yeah, you can. There's an RF choke on the control lines for the antenna motor, keeping all the RF from injecting into the system there. And then made a coil RF choke with 3 split ferrite beads here. I did not use the thicker coax for this portion because the bend radius on it was not enough to be able to create the RF choke. Hence the adapter barrel connector inside there. All of this fits right back into the channel and is a really nice clean installation. We're going to try to go underneath here, see if we can get a good view of what's going on inside. Okay, you can see I used a piece of old heater tubing because, again, I ran out of the loom, and the heater tubing I just zip stripped into place there. Everything coming down from this point on is the RF coax coupled with the control line. So from that hole, oh, and the Ford F-150 Super Crew does not have a standard stake hole mount. So if you buy a standard stake hole mount, you're going to be a little upset with yourself when you get it in. So the coax and the control line run up and over. Wow, bad cameraman. Up and over the wheel well. Of course, I have zip stripped it I did undo a couple zip strips in this area so I could pull that RF choke out and show it to you. I actually had them in that ovalish, tied off to that oval hole there. So again, apologize for the shaky camera, bear with me. So from that portion, we continue on up to the front of the wheel well, and everything is wire tied off. Found a couple nice spots to tie things to. Sorry about that. Shaky hand and plastic against metal. Okay, now we're going to... I hate when people do this, so bear with me. So from the underside of the wheel well, we go underneath. I'll show you that ground strap here in just a second. Tied off to a couple points. And then there's a grommet I was able to cut away right there underneath, and then RTV inside and out so that it would water seal very, very well. So the ground strap story. I went from the body ground on one of the running boards and ran it back to the wheel well support. So the bed to the cab is well grounded on both sides the same way. You saw the hood was grounded to the firewall. And let's see, the rest of the grounding was good. I did do each door. Each door is done in a similar manner to this. And I stretched it a little tighter than I wanted to, but it's working for now. If it ever fails, I'll go ahead and swap it out again. And there are star washers on all of these connections, ensuring as good a ground as possible. So that is the path of the HF cable up into the turbo tuner, and then from the turbo tuner it routes out into the radio box, into the HF connector. The turbo tuner itself is run off of this red and black wire back underneath. The blue and black does turn into red and black somewhere along the path, and we will go backwards on the UHF VHF. So the UHF VHF goes directly into the radio underneath, behind the seat belt, underneath this plastic, and is routed. Some guy did a video on this, and turned out to be pretty close, but I'll show you one place where I had a problem. So here's another problem. I'm starting to have a little sag here, so I'm going to have to find some method to get that tied up. I'll take you out and show you the issue that I had with UHF VHF antenna. So I don't know if I mounted it further forward than he did or what, but you'll notice I did route it down through the secondary portion of the roof structure and put some of that blue tape on it. And you'll notice that gnawed up area right there below the antenna mount. In order to get the antenna mount to go up into the hole, I had to remove some metal. And thank God for a Dremel tool. In about 15 minutes I took out only what was necessary, and I figured oh well, if I roll the truck, and I think missing that little piece of metal there is going to be the least of my worries. But if you have any information on that and you want to share, please let me know. If I did something wrong or am assuming some risk in running that type of an installation. So this is how I did my ICOM 7000 installation into the 2012 Ford F-150. I have other videos on the box and how I run it as a mobile, and I'll just give you a quick shot of the seat mount and the microphone up front. There you go. Hope this helps somebody, and again, if I missed something, please share it as a comment and I can always go back and redo something if I did something wrong. Thank you very much for watching. Knowledge is only power when it's shared.